Okay. Test, test. Test, test. Let me just test this out. Okay. Okay. Test, test. Test, test. Test, test. Test, test. Test, test. Yo, this is a test. Yo, this is a test. And here's one more test. Test of the sound. Test of the sound. This is a test. And here's one more test. Test of the sound. Test of the sound. Okay, I'm gonna go live. Good morning, everybody. This is Eureka John with Eureka Street Crypto Hub, broadcasting live from Leander, Texas. It is 7:18 in the morning on September 22nd, 2021. I tried to broadcast on Theta TV because that is where I normally broadcast live from, but it's not been working for me in the past week or so. And I've tried to do Float.app. I did that yesterday, and that worked just fine too. But I was in a pinch this morning, so I just decided to go ahead and do the old YouTube. And, I try to stay away from YouTube, it being, like the big censor-ridden platform, that shadow bans people and all types of other crazy stuff. I wanted to try out YouTube to see how it compared, so I could go to Theta and troubleshoot and say, hey, it's not me. It works just fine on YouTube and Float.app, so it's your problem. Yeah. Anyway, I was supposed to have an interview this morning, and that didn't come through. As with Insurace, and I've covered them on a video before, and the CEO was like, yeah, I want to jump on and be interviewed, and because I had some questions, and it was scheduled for today, but then at the last minute, I don't think he realized it was a live stream YouTube video. So I understand he wanted to have a little bit more preparation time. And so, so I don't really know what I'm going to talk about today. And sometimes that happens, and it's okay. And it's just part of the gig of being a new guy on the block And yeah, when you're little and you're small and you're just a guy with under 1,000 subscribers and you get a few views per day, but not too many, and you don't have sponsors and you aren't shilling anything, and you aren't out there to try to maximize your viewership, and you're just basically video blogging like I do, then yeah, things like this happen, and you have to be like a cat. You got to adjust and you got to learn, and you have to take things as they go and not try to overplan anything. I am definitely not known for my meticulous planning, and I just kind of take it as it goes and I roll the punches. And I come from the school of hard knocks, ladies and gentlemen. And that's what brought me here to this crypto world, is I've taken a few hard knocks in this life. And I was like, there's got to be some other alternatives to what I currently have. And this was back in 2018. And at that point, I just basically wanted an alternative source for some beer money. and well, I mean, maybe not just that, but it provides a little flair to the story. And anyway, I just started looking into Bitcoin, and I was like, wow, man, this is expensive per token. And so I found Ripple because I saw some names that I recognized, like MoneyGram and American Express, and I was like, oh, cool, And then so I bought some Ripple, I bought a little bit of Bitcoin, and then just kind of like sat there and went through all the typical, what is blockchain videos, what is Bitcoin, and then I did a couple Udemy courses, and, kind of learned about what cryptocurrency is and what blockchain is. And I even went in depth to cryptography and learned about SHA-256 and all that stuff, and about mining apparatuses and ant miners and ASIC miners and, all that stuff. When I get into something, I really, try to get down to the nitty gritty. But the problem is I spend so much time dealing with all the tiny little minutiae of, of just like, the technicalities of ASIC miners and stuff like that, that I don't necessarily look at sometimes the big picture. And so over time, I've grown up and I've learned how to look at things from a larger picture. And, I started doing pretty well investing in some of these projects, just dollar cost averaging, not trying to trade the market. And I got to a point where I was watching these YouTubers like Digital Asset News and Crypto Lark and, Guy from Coin Bureau and Chico Crypto and stuff. I was like, they started out just kind of, getting in front of a camera and then just like, talking about crypto and learning as they go along. I was like, I can do the same. So I did, and I turned on a camera, and I just kind of just started on this journey. And here I am, almost a year later. October 24th will be 1 year doing this. And I've learned a lot. I've interviewed quite a few and a wide assortment of people. I've covered different projects. I've met some really cool people. I'm involved in a couple DAOs now, and it's been an amazing experience. So since I don't really have anything to talk about specifically today, because I'd prepared to have a guest on, I'm just going to kind of wing it today. And some days you just got to do that. And so let's go take a look at the CoinGecko and see what's going on. I got the cat over there sitting there pounding its head on the door trying to get in here. Why does that cat want to get in here? What do I have to offer that cat right now? Absolutely nothing. Okay, so, and I didn't even want a cat. My daughters and my wife wanted a cat. I would have a dog. I'm a dog guy. I want a golden retriever. I'm gonna get a golden retriever one day. She wants to get like a labradoodle, and I'm just like, oh man. All right. Anyway, all right. So Bitcoin's at 42,112.85. Ethereum 2,906.86. Tether's a stable coin. Cardano at 210. Binance Coin 359.22. XRP 92 cents. Solana 128.65. USDC is a stable coin. Polkadot 28.09. The Doge 20 cents. And Avalanche 61.44. I got some little news on that actually. Terra, Binance USD is a stable coin. Terra 26.81. Uniswap 20.07. Litecoin 154.36. Chainlink 22.71. I mean, look at all this red. Wow, it is a bloodbath. So yeah, man, it is what it is. We've been seeing this past couple of days. I actually I decided, it might be a fun time to try a little bit of leverage tradings, because I've always heard about don't do leverage, you're going to get wrecked and all this stuff. And I was like, okay, I just, I know to stay away from leverage. It's not my shtick. I just want to do dollar cost averaging because that's what I do. And I don't want to promote anything else because it's dangerous. And, I cater to more new people in the space trying to help explain some of these concepts. But I saw on Arbitrum, which is a layer 2 platform, which is a faster, scalable platform on top of Ethereum because the Ethereum gas fees are so high. But I went on to gmx.io and let me go ahead and connect my wallet just so I can show you guys what I'm talking about. Let me make sure that I'm connected to the Arbitrum network. So I'm in MetaMask. You can't see this right now. It's because it just drops down. Okay, so I connected my MetaMask to it. So gmx.io is on the MetaMask platform. So let's go to the earn platform. I have some GMX tokens locked up. The value has dropped down to 1260. I'm losing money there. However, the beauty about staked tokens, it doesn't matter about the value of the token. You still get the percentage and you get staked tokens. So when it goes back up, you're still receiving the same percentage you would just by staking. And I have some GLP, not a whole lot on here, but just, just enough just to kind of play around. See, that's what I like to do, is I like to learn by doing. It's like skateboarding. You can't read a book about skateboarding. You have to go out there and like pay your dues, get knocked out, get your scrapes, bruises, broken bones, and all that stuff. And you learn and you keep getting back up and you keep trying, even though you get knocked down a million times until you roll away with that landed trick. So the same principle I'm applying to this and to all these protocols. So I'm learning by doing. I'm going in here and I've tried to do this on layer 1 platforms, but the gas fees are too high. And, for a broke little guy like me, it's just not feasible or practical. I learned my first DeFi app. I learned using synthetics. I didn't even know what a derivative was at the time. And I was just checking out synthetics, learning the levers and pulleys of synthetics. And I did. I learned how to use synthetics and it was great. And synthetics is a pretty amazing platform. But the problem is that part of it was on layer 1, and I just don't have enough money to play in that type of ball game. So layer 2 makes it possible using Matic, using Arbitrum and stuff like that. You just have to do the one-time cost of bridging your tokens, your Ethereum tokens, up to layer 2 and pay that one-time gas fee up there. But once you have that bulk amount up there, then you can spread it out amongst different apps and then test out different types of DeFi platforms and all types of stuff on layer 2. It's pretty amazing. So if you want to learn DeFi, don't learn it on layer 1. Go to layer 2 on Matic, Polygon, or on Arbitrum. Okay, and all right. So anyway, I decided to go over here to the trade window, and all this looks pretty intimidating. All this red and green up and down, and the candles and wicks and all that stuff. And all the stuff that the technical analysis people sit there and play around with and analyze. And I thought that I would try some leverage trading because I hear a lot about it. And right here's the little. Let me expand this out so you can see. Whoops, hold on. Okay, so let me expand this out. And okay. And let me bring this in. And okay, so right here you can see if I wanted to drop in 0.01 and I can leverage by 5x, I can long, and that longing means I believe that it will go up. Shorting means that I believe it will go down, and I can try to, I can put more on here. Anyway, I can move this leverage slider out. And yeah, as you can see here, okay, at the bottom right here is the liquidation price, and it's gambling basically. I mean, I'm not going to pussyfoot around it. It's straight up gambling. This is Wall Street style gambling right here. Anyway, yeah. So the liquidation price goes higher, so it's more of a risk the more leverage you put on it. So I could win 30 times the amount of 0.01 Ethereum. I could win 0.29 Ethereum, but the liquidation price is 28.60. And yeah, but I just did 5x at the time, and I put in right around, I can't remember what price I had put in at, but my liquidation price was 2,788. So when Ethereum hit that price of 2,788, it immediately closed my position down here, and I was liquidated, and it sucked. And I was just like, really, But you know what? You live and learn, and you get wrecked. And I know that that leverage is not really for me. And it was not a lot of money. It was just a little bit of money that I wanted to experiment with and learn the levers and pulleys and figure out how to get it done. And I did. And yay, it's over. I've had my initiation. It's probably like the worst time I could have ever done any type of leverage. But hey, it is what it is. And yeah, so I'm not too worried about it. Now I know, and now I've earned my leverage stripes, and I've paid my dues in that aspect. So this is, I think, layer 2 solutions are kind of a relatively safe way to kind of poke around and experiment with it if you have a few dollars to spare to learn the apparatus. And I just call it an educational expense at that point, right? Okay, anyway, on to another subject. Since I was going to be interviewing the CEO of Insurace, which is a decentralized insurance, a DeFi insurance platform. And I'm not going to go over it today. I just kind of wanted to give you a quick look at it, the Insurace protocol. And I'm going to talk about a particular hack today. And so V-Finance hack. So V-Finance got hacked, I believe, for $35 million. And that is on the Avalanche platform. And I know Avalanche has been doing extremely well lately and has had a lot of hype. And a lot of people are saying, yeah, Avalanche is going to supplant Ethereum killer. I don't believe in Ethereum killers. I think they're all going to work together in certain niches and stuff like that. I try to take a neutral approach to that. But Avalanche's DeFi platform, got hacked, and it suffers a $35 million hack. A recently launched DeFi protocol, V-Finance, has fallen victim to an exploit with as much as $35 million siphoned out. Decentralized finance platform V-Finance has reported it was exploited for a total of 8,804.7 Ethereum, around 26.2 million, and 213.93 Bitcoin, around 9 million, temporarily suspending services. V-Finance is a lending and borrowing protocol built on the Avalanche blockchain that offers both flexible and fixed returns on crypto deposits. In less than a week since its launch on September 14th, the platform boasted that the total value of assets locked surpassed $300 million. After today's news, that sum is now at least $35 million lower. Oh, wow. So, yeah, a lot of people are just sitting there lauding all over Avalanche and how amazing it is. And it just goes to show that no matter what platform you're on, you're susceptible to risk in this DeFi world. The DeFi is truly the Wild West, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But it does not justify the people like Elizabeth Warren to go around and, try to offer us protection. Like, we know very well what we're getting into, and word spreads quickly around the crypto world about hacks, about nefarious actors, about people that are malicious with malicious intent and stuff like that. And the community looks out for each other. As it grows, yes, there's going to be some people that fall victim to this type of stuff. And that is the risk that people should accept whenever they want to take control of their own finances. But it is a double-edged sword. We do not want to be under the thumb of the banking and the nation states as far as our finance, because we want to have autonomy and freedom of our financial of our finances. And then at the same time, it requires taking control and taking responsibility for your own finances and setting up your wallets, making sure you guard your private keys and all that stuff. And that is a lot for some people. So it's a balancing act. So anyway, VFinance funds safe. In a consequent blog post, VFinance stressed that the platform stablecoin sector was not affected by the attack. However, the team couldn't confirm the user funds were safe. According to address monitoring, the attacker has not yet transferred or processed the attacked assets any further, VFinance said. We are actively dealing with it and have proactively communicated to the attacker on the chain. So that's the thing about these hacks is the victim can see where all these funds are going because everything is transparent on the blockchain. So yes, it's anonymous, but it's public. Unless they start using things like I believe it's Tor and there's some Tornado and stuff like that are able to hide this stuff. Aside from that, I believe that everything is public. And then so they wrote a message, dear Mr. and Mrs. 0x95BA. This is so initially in a tweet addressed directly to the supposed hacker, VFinance said they're willing to launch a bounty program for the bug they identified, urging the attacker to contact the team. So VFinance is trying to communicate with the hacker saying, hey, we realized you got into it, so we're willing to give you a bounty. This is VFinance team. We're willing to launch a bounty program for the bug you identified. Please connect via email or other contact you prefer, because there is such a thing in the hacker world as white hat and black hat hackers. Black hat hackers are the malicious hackers, that steal your stuff. There are people who deem themselves as white hat hackers. They basically sometimes they're hired by companies to try to break in their system so they can detect vulnerability, and other times they are just concerned citizens. I've heard on some podcasts, I can't remember which one it was, but they were talking about this white hat hacker who was going in the back door of this router and was trying to tell the company as an anonymous hacker, but a white hat one, hey, you have this problem, and all that stuff. And then, kind of it just backfired on him. He's trying to help out this company saying he has this problem. He broke into this and he left, these little notes in people's routers saying, look, you have a vulnerability. I'm trying to tell you. And then I believe he ended up getting in trouble for it, and that sucks. At the same time, I don't know. People, you try to do the right thing. Oh, man. So anyway, let's go on to another subject. I did have something else that I bookmarked to see. Like I said, I'm not worried about not having something to talk about. I always have something to talk about. So just because an interview might get backed out does not mean that it will be an issue for me to find something to talk about. Okay, so let's see, where are you at? I discovered this Mark Moss right here. He's a YouTuber as well, and I recently discovered him yesterday. There's some dangerous changes to banking as we know it. While you are distracted, the government is quietly sneaking new legislation to change banking, and this has a massive impact on you, your privacy, and your money. A thread. Okay, so one, as most of you have seen, let me expand this out so you can see better. All right, so let me bring this in, and then let me expand this out. All right, so all right. And all right, and you don't need to see all that. Okay, so and let's do this. Oh, there. And we'll do that, and then we'll expand that out. Okay. I think I got it to where everybody can kind of see it. Okay. Big money, no whammies. Okay. As most of you have seen, the government has been sneaking all types of new regulations into the stimulus bills. The crypto world united to push back on the changes to sneaky regs, and the pending $3.5 trillion bill has plenty, including turning banks into spying assets and weaponizing the IRS. It's absolutely true. To pay for the spending bill, they tried to sneak in an anti-crypto bill, and Elizabeth Warren was behind it and all this other stuff. Through some infrastructure bill, and all the crypto people saw it and they brought it to light. And while it still passed through, it brought a lot of awareness that the crypto world is out there and watching these people. So you can't just be poking the stuff through bills. Anyway, to pay for the spending bill, they must try to find the money by tightening holes and increasing taxes. The idea is to monitor every single bank account with $600 plus and report every transaction, including Venmo, PayPal, and crypto, to the IRS for full ongoing audits. So in order to pay for their $3 trillion spending bill, they're clamping down on the American public, thinking they can squeak out an extra $80 billion out of everybody by monitoring any bank account with $600, because, you know, they want to stop all these billionaires from evading taxes by tightening up on people with $600 in a bank account, right? Anyway, there are numerous problems with this. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at three briefly. First, the Bank Secrecy Act of 1970 did require banks to keep records and report on cash transactions of $10,000, but $10,000 in 1970 is equivalent to $69,000 today. So that limit should go up, not down to $600. So yeah, let's just take a quick look at this and see what they have.
Into your bank transactions, hoping to bring billions in revenue, according to the analysts. But some are saying, look, it's too aggressive.
Hold on, let me just
Top story tonight, Craig.
Yeah, the president's plan would give the IRS more authority to look into your bank transactions, hoping to bring billions in revenue, according to the analysts. But some are saying, look, it's too aggressive. It could cause a lot of expensive work for your bank to report what's in your account.
Yeah, all this expensive work, exactly. So they want to bring in, and they think they can bring in about $80 billion to help pay for this $3 trillion infrastructure bill on our expense. And then, but how much is all that surveillance basically going to cost? It's going to cost the banks, it's going to cost the government to hire employees and software and the infrastructure to be able to do all that monitoring. It's going to be astronomically expensive, and it will definitely probably surpass that $80 billion that they're going to squeak out of the American public. Anyway, so second, this violates many laws, including the Right to Financial Privacy Act in 1978, which limits the government's ability to access financial records, requiring government to deliver legal notice and allow customer challenge before access, and only allows 6 reasons as shown below. So according to the Right to Financial Privacy Act, there are some limits of the government, and they can only access financial records through a grand jury subpoena, customer authorization giving consent, administrative summons, search warrant issued under the federal rules of criminal procedure, judicial subpoena, and formal written request. So they can't just surveil and spy on your bank account with $600 in it, $615 or whatever. Third, the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution reads, the rights of the people to be secured in their persons against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated. We are innocent until proven guilty, and not guilty until proven innocent. And the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution reads, the right of the people to be secured in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. But the Treasury Department said there's no reason for compliant taxpayers to be concerned, saying that monitoring would simply help target those committing fraud. It's for your protection, right? Always for your protection. Sure, yeah, I hear ya. All right, fourth, a more serious problem is the IRS has a history of weaponizing against specific groups to threaten, harass, and shut down. Under Obama admin, IRS targeted Tea Party groups. Okay, so yeah, I remember that, you know, and I'm not a member of the Tea Party or anything, but still, I was just kind of like, it's not a good look, you know. Anyway, 7, this isn't partisan, but anyone with this power could use it against the opposition, which is exactly what the Obama administration did. IRS Chief Lerner lied under oath, claimed the 5th, but information released showed the crime, and the lawsuits and claims were paid out for damages. Okay, so she got away with it, basically. Yeah, she ended up retiring, full pension and everything, even though she lied under oath and basically, you know, yeah. So anyway, what most are missing is this is also an attack on the banks. Passing these types of surveillance requirements onto banks forces them to deliver the data that they are not able to collect, to spend huge sums of money to attempt to comply. Most won't be able and will be in contempt of court, basically. So a lot of people think that I'm out against banks. And I do think we should all go bankless. I'm a member of the Bankless DAO, and I believe in the whole mission of financial autonomy and stuff like that. And I do think the banks are a major problem. However, smaller banks are not the problem. Small community banks, I don't believe, are the problem. They do have to comply with what this surveillance is going to require is that they have to sit there and report on all this stuff to the feds. And it's going to cost huge sums of money to be able to do this stuff, to collect and deliver this data and to enforce it. So what's this going to do? It's going to put a lot of banks out of business. So let's listen to what they have to say here.
With Community Bank of Wichita is not looking into the politics of it all, but he's not sure how his team could comply with it without a lot more work and possibly cost to the banks.
Yeah, we don't know exactly what all is going to happen with the pending legislation and what has been.
With Community Bank of Wichita.
Okay, so you see that. It's going to cost the banks a lot of money, and a lot of smaller community banks are going to be driven out of business. So there goes your local advocate, your local financial advocate, the person who knows why you want to open up a taco stand and knows you from the community and stuff like that, and will lend you money to do that. Nope. And so here we go. And this is one of the main things I harp on this channel. Enter CBDCs. Central bank digital currencies are now being promoted as giving us more privacy and are being used as the old drop cell technique, as in hit you with something so hard, so severe, so invasive that the lesser CBDC now seems like an easier and better option. I am in sales. This is an old technique, by sitting there and saying, that's going to cost you $100. Oh, $100, that's too expensive. Wow, oh my God, I can't pay that. Well, you know what? I might be able to let it go for 95, and then so you lessen it, you throw it out there as something really hard, and then they're not going to accept, and then you reel it in slightly, and then they'll be like, okay, so they think that they're getting a deal now. And so that's basically what's happening. Central bank digital currencies are now being promoted as giving us more privacy and is being used as the old drop cell technique, as then they hit you something so hard, so severe, so invasive that the lesser CBDC now seems like an easier and better option. Okay, so banks are being required to do all this surveillance, but now the CBDCs coming straight from the Fed, cutting out the banks. They're going to drive the small banks out of business, and they're going to go directly to you. And the CBDCs is programmable money. It's the Fed coin. It's going to tell you, they're going to airdrop you money, UBI, we're taking care, buddy, So they're going to tell you how much to spend, how much you're going to get, how fast you need to spend it, where you can spend it. I don't know if you guys have ever been on probation or not. I mean, I've been on probation before, and it sucks. But there's a lot of things you can and can't do. And, or people on welfare, I'm not saying that people on welfare should be able to buy beer and cigarettes with their welfare money, but it's just the whole concept of, there are certain items that people are limited and not limited to. And what if, for instance, you try to order pepperoni pizza and you're not allowed to because your IoT device is telling your phone, that's telling your bank account that's run by CBDC, because it's not a bank account, it's a FedCoin account, and it's telling you that your cholesterol is high, and so you can't order that pepperoni pizza, so, and then you say you get $500 for the month, and you have to spend that $500 in that month, and you're not allowed to save it, because your FedCoin, your CBDC, your programmable money will basically burn that money in your wallet if it's not spent by the end of the month, so you can't save anything. And so it's so invasive in all our lives is CBDCs. So while local community banks and banks may seem like they're all up in our businesses with these loans and stuff like that, in a lot of ways, the small community banks are working for us, and they don't have bad intentions for us. Anyway, so number 10, I'll finally get to it. CBDC also allows the central banks to open accounts directly to the people, bypassing the need for commercial, local, regional banks, and ultimately even bypassing government central banks and just allowing the IMF to issue CBDCs directly to the people, compressing the stack. You will own nothing and you will be happy. You will be airdropped by the world government, So, yeah, so as you can see here, and I had a friend over the weekend being like, well, America and Chase Bank and all that stuff, they own everything. They're not going to let any CBDCs come into play, all that stuff. I'm like, no, those people answer to the BIS and the IMF and the Bank of International Settlements is the bank that sits there and like loans other banks money, and they loan national banks money. What is it? I can't even think. They loan countries money, and so yeah, if these people are going direct to us, the world central bank, then there is no need for any national currency. There's no need for any local branches, and they are so far removed from you, yet they're making decisions about your day-to-day life. Okay, so number 11, are central banks taking over the world, limiting choice and consolidating power? More evidence as we are approaching peak globalization, but the pendulum is about to swing the other way. Okay, all right, so then he's just promoting his video. So anyway, I thought it was a pretty good thread, just in plain language about what is happening with this $600 bill. It seems pretty nuts. Nutso. All right, so with that being said, this morning was kind of an interesting morning. Like I said, I had planned on having an interview, and I did not have an interview because right at the last minute, they said, oh, by the way, we want to prepare for this, and we can't come on. So, I had a POAP NFT all ready to pass out. I had everything lined up and my video screen all set up ready as an interview, so I had to scramble around. And then at that point, Theta Network was not streaming very well for me, so I just ended up here on YouTube. So if you're seeing me here live streaming on YouTube, this is serendipity, right? Yay! But this is my show, and this is what it's about. And I roll with the punches, and I learn, and I adapt, and this is why I do this show. I don't do this to be some kind of professional, live streamer or YouTuber or influencer or anything like that. This is me learning about crypto as I go along and documenting my journey, and this is part of my journey. So yes, I do this every single day, Monday through Monday, and so catch me in the morning. I'm usually on around, I guess, 5:30 or 6 in the morning, and then on the weekends a little bit later, and then so all right. That being said, I will talk to you guys tomorrow.